Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and get started. So welcome to How to Start a High School or College Internship Program. We have a really nice mix here of employers and also people who run programs to place students in internships. So I think this is going to be a great conversation. So I think we'll start off, just introduce yourself and explain what your business and or your organization's experience or background with internships is. And we'll start here.
My name is Becky Wright. I'm the captain and co-owner of the schooner Louis R. French. We do windjamming programs out of Camden, Maine. We have a crew of 5, and then we occasionally take interns, volunteer apprentices, as we call them. Let's see, background in apprentice. Apprenticeships are very important to the maritime industry. It's how I got my start when I was 17. I came up and got a job on a boat, and 12, 14 years later, one thing leads to another, and now I'm owner and captain of a boat. Internships are very important to the industry. It's how we get new people, new blood in, and it's how we attract young people.
Chris Cameron, I'm the Vice President and Director of Communications and Fan Experience for the Portland Sea Dogs. I've been with the organization for 27 years, and I've run the internship program for the Sea Dogs for over 20 years. We've got, each year we hire around 20 interns and give them a pretty well-rounded experience. We try to make it a win-win situation where we're getting some great help for the course of the summer, but also give them the skills that they need to land their first full-time job in the sports industry.
Hi everybody, I'm Kay. I'm the program manager for the Maine Career Exploration Program out of the Department of Economic and Community Development. I do see some familiar faces in here, so very excited for that. We have a really ambitious program reaching a goal of 6,000 young people over the next couple of years with paid work experiences, whether that be in the hospitality industry, whether that be in the manufacturing industry, whether that be whatever the young person may have an aspiration for. We are here to try to help bridge the gap between aspiration and opportunity. And I have had the distinct pleasure of working with young people ages 16 to 24 for the past almost 10 years now. And being able to work at the state with this program has been a real awesome opportunity, collaborating with DOL, collaborating with DOE, and finding opportunities for young people in all of the fantastic industries here in Maine.
I'm Don Galini. I'm the Director of Student Employment at the Nonantum Resort in Kennebunkport, Maine. I came to internships rather late in life. I actually retired from 40 years in academic publishing, and a couple of years ago, Jean asked me to do a program for a young woman with us who was working on a degree from York County Community College. She liked what I did, and it was either that or she decided that I needed something to do. And she asked me to work with her and reinvent the program. So for the last 2 years, we've run a very robust program at the resort. It involves rotations in all the various departments. It involves some professional education through Educate Maine. And we also try to have fun, and it's been a real rewarding experience for me and I think for the students.
And you're kind of a big deal because you're the Hospitality Maine Employee of the Year. That's a pretty cool accolade. Not to put you on the spot or anything, but hi everyone. My name is Maureen LaSalle. I'm the chair of Culinary Arts and Hospitality Management at Southern Maine Community College. And all of our culinary and hospitality students have to complete a 400-hour internship. And so it's always, for me, very rewarding to have students that are out in the industry and have really amazing experiences. It's nice that I'm sitting next to Dawn because our relationship with the Nonantum Resort is really a success story. We've had multiple interns that have gone through their program and have either stayed on as future employees still once they've completed their internship. One of their interns just finished up this season at the Nonantum and is now doing an internship program at Disney, and that would not have happened without, I think, what we did for him at SMCC, but also what the Nonantum has done. So you all know in hospitality, it's all about relationships. So we're always excited for our interns to find the right fit because we do believe with hospitality and culinary, there is a right fit for everyone. Our job is really to work with you to find that fit.
So, Maureen, you said your program was 400 hours for the internship. Kay, how long is the program for Maine Career Exploration Program?
Yeah, so we can offer up to 75 hours for a paid work experience for young people, 16 to 24. Some folks may use a little bit different of a model, whether it's an ELO model, whether it's 75 hours, but we can pay for up to 75 of those hours.
And are the internships paid, or do the employers usually pay the students? Is that usually how that works, Maureen?
Yes. With the presentation that we had previously, you all know housing is a concern. Go to Hannaford, you know, it's super expensive for everything, and the majority of our students at the community college level are all financially aid dependent, so it is impossible for them to do an unpaid internship. It's just not reality. A lot of our students are working parents, or they might be helping out with other type of caregiving. It really has to be paid.
So the distinction, of course, would be that your college internships and then Kay's high school students, but they're being paid through the state, would kind of be distinguished between your two programs. Excellent. Okay, so for the employers, if you could just outline us kind of what your internship program looks like, how long it is, what it entails, how many slots do you have, are they paid or unpaid, and we can start with Becky.
All right. Our internship program is pretty basic. You know, we only have 5 paid employees. We keep an intern on if we can find a good candidate. Because of the nature of the work, it's pretty intensive. You know, we're on the boat for multiple days at a time with guests. We tend to keep interns for about a week, up to a month, because it's really exhausting being around people that much. And it can lead into a paid job if they love it, which is really the barrier. You know, they have to be really into it because it's hard work, and not everybody is. So we try to keep it a shorter term commitment at first because it's not right for everybody. We generally do officially it's unpaid, but they're in the tip pool, which can be usually about $200 a week, I would say on average, and we usually kind of bolster the tip bag when we have an apprentice. Just to keep everybody happy. What else? Is there anything else I need to answer for that one?
Are they, so you said the tip pool, and how many interns do you usually have over the course of a summer?
This year we have had 4 interns that reach on for about a week. We can take one at a time.
And what was the average age of your intern?
I would say average probably about 18.
18.
Late
Okay.
high school.
So mostly high school students.
Mhm.
Okay, excellent. Chris?
Yeah, we hire 20 college interns each season, and they are hired for the seasons, and our season runs 1st of April through mid-September. We do have some flexibility. We know that, you know, there's a lot of college students that, you know, they have classes until May and have to go back to school in late August. So luckily, those are our early April and late September, our slower time, so I can get away with fewer interns that year. So if there's a college student that, you know, they can't join us until May, that's fine. And then if they have to go back to school early, that's fine too. But I always have a handful, you know, at least 5 or 6 interns from like USM or St. Joe's that, you know, in between their classes can still fulfill those April and September hours for us. They generally work all of our games, usually 30 to 35 hours per week. And then when the team is on the road, they get some additional hours as well, depending on what's going on. Could be between, you know, 5 and 20 hours a week, and there's some additional opportunities for them to volunteer for as well. But we try to give them a well-rounded experience. We understand that, you know, a lot of these students, they know they want to work in the sports industry, but they don't exactly know what area of the sports industry, and there's so many areas that they can get involved in. So we try to give them a little taste of everything from selling tickets to running promotions, concessions, ushering, game day operations, sales, and with the concession work, we have them go out and sell Sea Dog biscuits, and we make it a competition to see who can sell the most over the course of the season. That's a good way to get them, you know, out of their comfort zone and have a little friendly competition, work on their sales skills, and they really seem to embrace that competition. So that's a lot of fun every year. We pay all of our interns. It's either minimum wage or slightly above minimum wage, and Each one of our interns is assigned a full-time staff member to serve as their mentor over the course of the season. Certainly, I tried my best to, do that for all of them, but with 20 interns and all the work I need to do too, it can be challenging at times. So I want to make sure they have the one-on-one attention that they need as well. So every one of our full-time staff members has, 1 to 3 interns that they mentor over the course of the season. So, I miss anything? Good. All right. Good.
And then Donna's definitely earning his Employee of the Year award today, because he's got a whole presentation for us. So we're going to have that from Don.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been known for over planning, so I apologize for that. Okay, great. Well, I'm Don Galani. I'm the Director of Student Employment Programs for the Nonantum Resort. This is a picture of the resort for those of you who might not be familiar with it. Also with an image of our iconic lighthouse. The lighthouse is a favorite gathering spot and a place where over 1,000 couples have pronounced their wedding vows. Let's see. The property is a 109-room family-owned resort that opened in 1884. We specialize in family vacations, weekend getaways, weddings, and all kinds of social events. Dances, showers, celebrations of life, birthday parties, etc. We also serve bus tours and increasingly business retreats for local and regional businesses and organizations. In 2022, we formed a partnership with a local organic farm, Black Rock. It's a family-owned nursery and farm where we host outdoor events and grow produce that we use in the kitchen, distribute to staff, and donate to local charities. Okay. To run a good internship program, you also have to have a team. So for us, the team, first off, is Jean Gin-Marvin, which is back in the corner there. She's the innkeeper and owner. She really was the inspiration to bring the intern program back after COVID. When others seemed to be saying we can't, she said we will. Tina Gordon-Hewitt, who's not with us today, is the general manager. She helps me ensure that the plans for the internship mesh with the plans for the resort each season. She advises me on scheduling and perhaps the first person I go to when I need to make what we refer to as a Nonantum pivot, but more on that later. Hannah Lamprey is the director of marketing. She's the person who helps me get things done. She does the marketing for the program. She serves as my sounding board to make sure we stay authentic and acts as the intern's kind of big sister. She's always listening and always ready to help interns adjust and, quite frankly, me to change. Esther Montague is the director of activities program. She's the one that makes sure that all the fun times really are fun times, and she's there to comfort, give support, and give us all a reason to laugh. As for me, I'm fairly new to internships. I retired in 2018 and moved to Kennebunkport in February of 2020, about 2 weeks before COVID hit, if y'all remember that. After a 1-year COVID-related deferral, I went to work at the Nonantum as a 3-day-a-week front desk associate. In October, my first season, Jean asked me to mentor an employee who was attending York County Community College. She needed an internship to complete her associate's degree in hospitality. Because I had a background in sales, leading teams, and project management, she thought I could do this. Or maybe she just saw me standing idly at the front desk and said, we need to find this guy something to do. Anyway, in a few weeks, we developed a program of departmental rotations and feedback, not too dissimilar to a program that the Nonantum had before COVID. And at the end of the season, Jean asked me to reestablish and reinvent our program, keeping the key rotations and enriching the student experience in ways as yet to be determined. I spent that winter as what I refer to as an internship sponge. Whatever I could find online, I read. Whoever I could network with, I spoke to. Whatever organization I could borrow from, like Hospitality Maine, thank you, Derek, and Educate Maine Career Catalyst, I embraced. The first iteration of the program, directed primarily at hospitality students, launched in May of 2022. Somehow we jumped way ahead here.
Really?
Yep, but it's all right. Okay.
Oh, all right. I guess someone got over.
Joy of technology. A major mantra of the Nonantum is lifting people up. We reach out and hire people in recovery, formerly incarcerated, and other previously diminished groups. The intern program is just one more example of this kind of outreach, but essentially it is primarily for college students. A former boss of mine a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away would have called this an example of enlightened self-interest. By that he meant that by reaching out to these groups as potential employees, we help ourselves stay fully staffed. This afternoon, Colby Bracey, the resort's HR director, will talk about what it means to be a recovery-friendly workshop. So there's that plug you wanted, Gene. It's in there. You're welcome. So what is our internship program? Our intern program is 10 weeks long. It starts the last week of May. It's over by August 10th. The core is the rotations, about 2 weeks in 5 different departments: housekeeping, food and beverage, sales events, marketing, front desk, and activities. It is paid. We consider our interns to be full members of the Nonantum family. They get invited to all the employee events. They get clothing to keep, like this cool jacket I'm wearing. They get shirts to wear in departments, discounts on meals, discounts in the marketplace, and discounts on rooms. They know there's a chance to stay on for the rest of the season and or return the following year as a full-time employee. There are 4 core dimensions to our program. First, the rotations are the best of the program and the worst of the program. The best in that by learning about each functional area, the students learn how departments interact. They also get to practice peer-to-peer, interdepartmental, and guest-facing communication skills. The worst part is that by the time they're trained, they're ready to move on to the next department. Educate Maine, Maine Career Catalyst, has been a great career partner for us. They offer weekly workshops and events that are free to students and provide opportunities for learning, growth, and fun. The projects have become an incredibly interesting and important part of our program. We ask students to figure out a way to combine their passion to hospitality and work on that throughout the summer. I'll share some examples of that later on. Lastly is volunteerism and fun. This past year, the interns worked for Habitat for Humanity and volunteered as a special surfer, and then we had some really fun activities for them as well. We did bowling, we had dinner out, we offered kayaks, cornhole, tacos, and ice cream on the lawn, and they attended a Sea Dogs baseball game through Maine Career Catalyst. Okay, so, all right, now we're back to, we probably attract candidates much in the same way that you would. I maintain contacts at local schools, offices of internships, and career advising, usually with a personal visit. We use social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Facebook groups. We have a presence on the Nonantum website with descriptions, videos, and online applications. We use Indeed, Handshake, and comparable internet services. And we take it personally. Any employee can invite a college student to apply. If the student is hired, the employee gets a monetary reward. Also, any employee can apply. I've already had a couple of college-bound high school students this year who were bellhops, and one of our food and beverage servers asked about applying for the 2024 program. I mentioned the final projects. That's probably the thing that I think is one of the key things that sells students on our program. During the interview, we challenged them to figure out a way to combine a passion with a project, and the results have been very, very gratifying. Here's a couple of examples. Sustainability, Kate from UNE used her major in business sustainability to audit the resort's sustainability efforts. History, Charlotte from UNH and Carter from UConn created a series of web pages on the history of the resort. Agriculture, Anthony, another UNE student, combines his landscape experience and business coursework with a preliminary business plan for Black Rock Farm Stand. ADA compliance. Kelly from the University of Dublin has a relative who is hearing impaired. She developed an infographic that summarized front desk welcome information. Special programming. Mika, a SMCC graduate, developed a weekend getaway project that focused on experiences, not things, and personal journey. Marilyn, another SMCC graduate, a young mother, described her personal journey and growth while working at Black Rock Farm during the intern program. And quite frankly, when she presented, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Educate Maine, Maine Career Catalyst is another big component of our program. They're a not-for-profit based in Portland, become a great partner. They offer educational programming, webinars, social events that integrate very nicely into the 10-week internship program. If you have an internship program or you're thinking about developing one, I would strongly urge you to think about joining them. There's no charge to Maine businesses, and it can help students develop some of the soft business skills they don't get at school. They always have a kickoff networking event in early June, midterm networking events, and a grand finale Sea Dogs game in August. There are regularly scheduled online webinars on important topics like making the most of your internship, teamwork, and DEI. They also offer some off-site leadership programs this year through LL Bean and the Rue Institute. One of the things that I think is important in an internship program is doing a fair amount of planning, and I've sort of been known for planning to the extreme. We have a fairly detailed plan for the students. We have rotations that are established before the term starts. There's a master schedule. We have workshops. We have contact information. There's a mandatory orientation that they all attend. Each student gets, intern gets a notebook with all kinds of handouts in it. And they also get a little journal where we ask them to take notes on their experience. And the last thing we do, and this is something I learned from Brian K. Williams, who was a speaker, we had a seminar with him this past year, is creating a student manifesto where they basically tell us what they expect to give us and what we expect to get from them. It's really been a very powerful tool that helps to run the program. And the other thing you have to think about is what we call the Nantum pivot. Revision is key. While planning is everything, you need to be flexible. We've learned to sort of innovate on the fly when things aren't working as planned, when things are not working as planned. And I think this allows us to adopt and adapt mid-course and still run a very successful program. Some of the things that we did as a pivot this year is we revised and were flexible in our scheduling based on departmental needs. When it looked like intern hours were going to be cut because of the weather, we instituted what we called Independence Day. This is an opportunity for the interns to collaborate, work on projects on their own, and attend some of the Maine Career Catalyst courses. We also asked our managers to develop some short projects that we could give the interns under the category of what's something that you've been needing to do and didn't have the time for. As a result, and I think I'm pretty proud of this actually, the interns helped us create a master marketing budget. They performed an inventory of service items, created some professional worthy signage for our new marketplace, wrote a what to do on a rainy day guide, which we all know we really needed this summer, and also created a database of companies who might want to host a Christmas party at the resort. The other thing that I think is important in a internship program that we've learned from is establishing some sort of a feedback loop for the students. It's very important to keep your finger on a pulse. What are they feeling? What are they doing? Like I mentioned earlier, every intern receives a journal and is encouraged to use it to record their thoughts, ideas, and issues. We offer both informal and formal mentoring. Everyone on the team has an open door. We sometimes have assigned mentors in various departments. And on one occasion, we assigned a mentor to an intern with special needs. Breakfast with Hannah has become something that the interns look forward to just about every week. After the second week, we host one of these breakfasts during family breakfast, and each intern who wants to join Hannah can join Hannah for an informal conversation. I never attend, and Hannah gets to choose what to tell me. Usually it's some action item that I need to take care of that day or in the near future. I hold office hours, and we also have optional performance reviews. Lessons learned, and pardon the pun, but there is always room to improve. Grown. A couple of things we've done and transitions we made over the last couple of years. In year one, we went after hospitality majors, stressed learning hospitality skills. In year two, we invited students from any major and stressed the learning and soft business skill through the lens of hospitality. We modified our work week so that the intern schedule meshed with our Wednesday to Tuesday resort week. I went digital. I'm kind of an analog guy, And the first year I tried to do a lot of stuff with handouts and email. It didn't work. The interns were not getting the messages. So based on advice from Hannah and others, I went to exclusively using text messages and Schedulefly, which is our resort-wide messaging service. We also lost our rigidity. We made exceptions to the rotations based on the skill set or career path. For example, one intern last year was a photography major. While in each rotation, he spent as much time as possible, as much time taking photos as he did working in the department. Those photos are now some of the photos that we use in our advertising. So what advice would I give someone who wants to start an internship? First off, start small, be authentic, offer experiences that are meaningful to students and tell them how they will benefit, provide opportunities for feedback, plan to the extreme, and don't be afraid to pivot if something isn't working. Celebrate and have fun. Plan events where students can build relationships that may last beyond the internship. Couple of quick notes on the what we refer to as projects with passions. The first slide that shows Marilyn explaining her journey. There's a picture of Mika working on her getaway package. We have Kate literally in the field working on the sustainability project. Nolan working at his photography. There's a sample of the infographic that Kelly designed for guests who may have hearing deficiencies. And lastly, there's a page from the history project that Carter and Charlotte worked on. And with that, if this works the way it's supposed to, there it goes. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Don.
Okay, so Becky, what inspired you to start your intern? You said that you you got your start-ish, was sort of working your way up. Is that kind of what inspired you to start your internship program?
Yeah. You know, I got my start when I was 17, and tall ships and schooners always had my interest. And as soon as I was old enough to work on a boat, I was in Maine working on a boat. And that's a huge part of my reasoning, my motivation to have an internship program is to offer that opportunity to other people that, you know, were me at a time. And I think it's really important to bring new blood in. Interns bring a lot to our program. You know, they have a lot of enthusiasm. They kind of bring a fresh set of eyes and a reminder of why what we're doing is really cool. And it's also, you know, a way to bring in new people, you know, start people on the path, you know, the path that I went on, you know, come back year after year after year, keep doing it, keep sailing, keep, you know, having a fun job, even if it's just seasonal. But yeah, I mean, internships are very important to me personally.
How many years have you been doing them?
Well, this is only our second year running the Louis R. French. But we've been doing it, you know, since we started running the French, and the previous owners have been doing it forever. I would say that internships are an integral part of the windjamming industry. I think there's been apprentices as long as there's been windjammers.
Right on. How about you, Chris? How long have the Sea Dogs been doing internships?
We've done an internship program since our first season back in 1994, so we've been doing it for 30 plus years. I've been involved for 20 plus of those years. And the sports industry is not the easiest industry to work in just because of the hours, and I know a lot with hospitality too, there's a lot of long days. So one of the things we do is, it's not meant for everyone, and the internship is really sort of a trial basis for these students to see if this is really what they want to do. And it's also workforce development for us too. We are looking for, if we have a job opening, we want to be able to hire one of our former interns. And we've got a full-time staff of, like I said, 15, 16 people. I'd say 90% of those people did an internship with us beforehand. So, and if we don't have a spot available with us, then we try to place them with another team or organization within the area. So we love having and love seeing our interns all over working in the sports and throughout the country, and also the business community here in Maine.
Okay, what was the impetus for the start of the Maine Career Exploration Program, and how long has it been around?
Yeah, so the Maine Career Exploration Program was born out of the 10-year Economic Recovery Plan. So that was embedded into the Department of Economic and Community Development's 10-year plan. And the Maine Career Exploration Program started in 2022, and we are a $25 million initiative from the Maine Jobs and Recovery Plan. And of that, we have some additional subgrantees, DOE partnering with JMG and folks like that. But we are a 2-year MJRP funded program. So we are in our second year now, going into August of 2024 of next year.
And is there an end date on the program, or is it kind of open-ended?
Right now, the MJRP funds are set for August of 2024, and we don't know what the future looks like yet. We're still, figuring out what next steps may happen. What does this potentially have the opportunity to evolve into or not, or what works and what doesn't work. But we, as of right now, are funded through August of 2024.
So get involved now if you're interested in getting involved.
Absolutely.
And kind of what is the goal of the program, would you say, like big picture?
Yeah, I like to look at it from a bunch of different perspectives, especially since we have so many partners in this work. But it's really letting young people see the aspiration. What is the goal? What is the thing that they are interested in? And really helping them to bridge that gap between, this is what I'm interested in, and how do I get to this career path? How do I find a supportive adult who's going to listen to me and help me find that opportunity that really fits for me? And for so many young people so far, they're saying, this is one of the times where we feel like we're being listened to. We feel like we are being supported in our aspirations, and the supportive adults, whether it's an ELO coordinator, whether it's a JMG specialist, whether it's somebody at their school who's a pathway coordinator, somebody in the community-based organizations who's a workforce navigator. It's really for those young people to say, I feel supported and I am making my way from this interest that I have into what could be my career. And thinking about it for a young person that's 16, having some type of idea of what the future may look like for them, 2-3 years down the line from now, that's so helpful not only for employers and for the young person, but for Maine as a whole. For young people to see themselves being able to participate in the Maine economy, wanting to participate in the Maine economy, wanting to stay here and really see all of the opportunities that are available here in Maine.
And of course, this is every industry in the state, right? What percentage of your participants would you say are in something related to our industry?
Ooh, that's a great question. I am in the process of working with USM, who's our evaluation team, on crunching some of those numbers right now. So I'd love to get back to you with some stats on that. But we do know that we have some partnerships already with some of the folks in the hospitality industry, and a broad range. Thinking about tourism, hospitality, and all of the millions of positions that really are in there. I can come back with some more concrete statistics in a few weeks when we're working on our interim report. But also, I want to make sure that I'm being accurate in saying, this percentage of students who are in ELOs versus the career exploration badge versus the community-based organizations, because we have so many prongs. But young people are participating and they're having a fantastic time, especially when they learn about, I could stay here for a discount. love this. They love traveling. I mean, why not? And seeing all that Maine has to offer. And, you know, I think a lot of us think of the visible positions that are, you know, up front. And for every visible position, you know, there's 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 behind the scenes opportunities. And so young people getting an opportunity to know that there's an in-house florist or something like that when they're really interested in horticulture or, you know, growing flowers and agriculture and things like that. So knowing that those are opportunities and bridging that gap between, like, this is my aspiration. I know I want to do something with flowers. Can I do this in the hospitality industry? Absolutely. Will we find it? Yes, we will.
Maureen, have internships always been an integral part of the program at SMCC?
Absolutely. You have to, especially in this industry, students have to spend time in the field. What we teach them in the classroom prepares them to be out in industry. Myself and all of the other faculty have all come out of industry, so we understand what it's like to be out there. And I think that's one of the nice things about the community college system is we are very much workforce development, and it's all about making sure that our employees in the workforce. You should never come out of a college program, I don't care where you go, never having touched foot in what you're interested in doing. That makes absolutely no sense. Because we do have students that come into the program, culinary students, for example. We have a lot of high school students that may come in and they have 0 experience in a kitchen. But they see on Food Network how awesome it is. And so they come into the kitchen and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, this is not what I expected at all. But and on the flip side, though, you do have people that come in and they've, you know, cooked with their grandmother, and the first time they step in the kitchen, they're like, I love this. But what's really, I think, great about our programs is, as I mentioned before, there is a fit for everyone. And because especially on the hospitality side of things, we partner with business. And so a lot of the classes that they're taking are business related. So even because we have a lot of students that come out of our program and decide that hospitality specifically may not be what they're interested in, but maybe they go to work for a bank or savings bank, or maybe they're working in an insurance company, because those soft skills that we all know that a lot of them are lacking in, we focus a lot on that, so they have to spend time in the field as part of our program.
How do you find employers to place your students at?
You all want them because you could see the statistics, and so the number of inquiries that I get is oftentimes very overwhelming, especially as everyone is kind of gearing up for the season. Because of all of our students having to do an internship, I think what's really important to us as faculty advisors is we get to know our students individually, and we have conversations so we understand where their strengths and where their weaknesses are, so that when they're going to go to work for an employer as an intern, it's going to be the right fit. We want to make sure that they're set up for success. What we don't want, though, is to send an intern into an organization that needs a warm body that's going to fry fish for 400 hours. That's not for us what makes any sense. So when I know that a student that's going to the Nonantum, exactly what that experience is going to be about. And we also partner a lot with David Turin. Some of you may know David, owns a couple restaurants in the Portland area. David's a smart guy because he has the largest amount of our culinary interns in his restaurant, and every single one of those interns becomes a full-time employee. So David's one of those restaurateurs that doesn't struggle a lot for staffing compared to others, because he's created this model where the student comes in the door, they might not have a lot of skills, but he has this set up so that they're constantly learning. 2 success stories. We have one culinary student who was one of David's interns, has now just recently been promoted to sous chef. And then I have another student, and this happens a lot in our programs, is that a culinary student will do 2 years and then they stay on for an additional year in hospitality, because our culinary students realize that they don't have those interpersonal skills that they really need to set them apart. And so they stay on for hospitality because I teach them all the warm fuzzy and how to get along with people. I do, yeah, for sure. So Lexi, one of our students, she graduated from the culinary program working for David, came into hospitality, still needs to do that additional internship in hospitality. And she needed to do front of house because an intern has to be doing something different. We're not just going to award credit for somebody doing the same job they've been doing for 6 months. So Lexi moved to front of house, loved it, did a really great job, and she was just promoted to assistant manager at David's in South Portland. So internships make sense. Marilyn's a great example for you. She was a fantastic student in our program, went to the Nonantum, and it was really impactful. I mean, I get goosebumps when I see the students because internships, you want them long term. You don't look at it just like 400 hours and now they're moving on. You want them to stay.
Becky, how do you go about finding students for your internships or apprenticeships or how you want to phrase them?
Well, for us, it's pretty easy because of the nature of our business. It looks really cool, and it is. But we don't take 20 interns in a year necessarily. This past year, we actually got most of our interns through the Maine Tourism Association, which was fantastic. They were already vetted. They were already knew that they wanted to be in an industry in the future that related to windjamming. Usually, they were students that wanted to go to Maine Maritime Academy and wanted to have a little bit of time on the water before they started just to make sure that it was a direction they wanted to go. Otherwise, we get people inquire through our website. 16, 17-year-olds will just email us and say, hey, I really want to be an intern on your boat next summer. How do I do that? And it's great. So it's very low effort on our side to find interns, which is fantastic. And I hope it continues that way.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, we go about it several ways, but I think the most effective way is by developing relationships with the local colleges. So, any college in Maine or New Hampshire that has a sport management program, we have a great relationship with them. And when it comes time to search for our interns, I just reach out to them. And it's good to have a internship program that's well established and liked by the schools, because then those professors recommend your program to their students, which is very helpful. We advertise on our website. We use Teamwork Online, which is a great job posting site, particularly for the sports and hospitality entertainment industries. They have a great database of people that are registered there and they blast your jobs out nationwide. A lot of the entertainment venues in Las Vegas use it as well. All the sports teams use it. So just because you might not be a sports team doesn't mean you can't use their service. They've got a great platform for us to advertise our internships on. And then, obviously, email marketing, social media marketing, just put it out there. But also one of the most effective ways, too, is word of mouth. We've got 20 interns that have gone through the program. They absolutely love it. They recommend it to their other classmates or their professors and their friends. I've got a sister of a former intern that just applied for an internship this year, so that'd be our first brother-sister combination that we've had. So, yeah, the relationships with the schools is probably the most effective way to get your interns. And just because we're sports doesn't mean we don't have to have a sports management major or intern. We'll take business administration, communications, PR. There's all kinds of different majors. So you can work through the various career development centers as well to get the word out. And utilizing the Handshake platform as well is a great way to really get your information out to multiple schools all at once.
Okay, how do you find employers to participate in the MCEP?
Well, I just love to go out and drive, find a business, knock on the door. I really do still do that a lot. There are quite a few folks who I have found because I'm driving down the street going to another meeting and I'm just like, can I just not for one quick second say hello? We do host a Workplace Wednesday series just about every other Wednesday where we'll blast it out on our social media. We're trying to connect as much as possible and highlight some of our folks on our social media. And so we do get inquiries through there too. But really and truly, I oftentimes am out and about and I am trying to meet with employers as much as I can in person. And then there are the young people who come to me and say, hi, I want to work for this person. can you make a connection? I'm like, absolutely. I don't know them, but I will now. Have learned so much about becoming a game warden because I had a student who was like, hello, lady who runs this program. May I please learn about? Absolutely, love this. And I think some of it too now is coming from student interest, where an ELO coordinator or a workforce navigator may reach out to me and ask, do you have somebody in this particular industry? And I may or I may not, and I'm always trying to go out and find that connection for them.
So I think that a lot of people in this room might be thinking, wow, this sounds so cool. Wow, this also sounds like a lot of work. So for the employers, how many hours a week would you say that you spend administering the program? I know you said it was pretty easy to recruit, but like, you know, in terms of like working with the interns, mentoring the interns, how much time for you and then also your staff does it really take in a week?
All of it. When you're in our industry in particular, it's kind of a 24/7 job. We have our intern and we have 5 crew in addition to the intern. And depending on where that intern's interest lies, who on the crew they make a connection with, you know, whether they're really interested in learning how to tie knots and they want to tie all the knots and they want to do all the rigging stuff, then that will land a lot on the first mate. And the first mate will put a lot, maybe 40% of their time, spending time with that intern and teaching them one-on-one the skills that they want to learn. If they're just general, you know, they just want to be out on a boat and they think the wood stove is really cool, then they'll spend a lot of time in the galley and they'll learn things down there. But generally, unless the intern is like, you know, taking a break, taking some time off, they're probably doing something one-on-one with one of the crew. And depending on their age and the labor laws, that might be 10 hours a day, that might be 8 hours a day, where they are one-on-one with somebody doing a project, learning a thing, talking through a project. But it's very, and it's not a burden. You know, it's not like I've got to write a lesson plan for this. It's more, give me a hand with this. You know, I want you to put your hands on this thing and hold this while I turn this, hold the flashlight, you know, while I turn the wrench, kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, it varies. To me, it's an ongoing process. You're always working on developing the interns and giving them the resources. You know, for me, it's all about, you have to make the internship about the student and not about the business. You're there to teach them, and so, you know, that's, you know, depending on the day, and what lessons there are to be done. You know, it varies. I think probably the most tedious part of it is doing the scheduling for them, when you're scheduling 20 interns in like 6 or 7 different departments, over 70 home games. It can get pretty tedious, and then this person calls out and this, and moving people around. You know, probably a lot of the administrative work comes either mid-season or end of season. I do a mid-season meeting with all of them. A lot of them have to have mid-season evaluations and then end of the season evaluations. And so that's probably where a lot of the administrative stuff takes place. But we also try to plan a lot of events for them throughout the course of the season, whether it's, you know, a meeting with our president and general manager, or taking them to a New Hampshire Fisher Cats game so that they can see another, you know, operation, and meeting with some of their staff. You know, and it was mentioned earlier, the Maine Career Catalyst, that's a great resource. They can do a lot of the, you know, professional development and networking aspects of that for you. So, you know, it's, you know, administrative-wise, you know, it's a few hours a week, but, you know, it's an ongoing, never-ending job with working with the interns.
I'd say for me that while the interns are in-house for that 10-week period, it's probably about 10 hours a week working with them. Mostly it's to prevent, I guess, what I call entropy, to make sure that things are working, that you're adjusting plans.
Sorry, your mic's
Do you have your mic?
What I was trying to say is that for me, basically during the intern season itself, it's about 10 hours a week, working pretty much with them, trying to monitor the systems, make sure that everything's working the way it's supposed to be working, and be ready to make kind of those midterm adjustments to make sure that everybody's getting what they needed. In the off season, it's probably about 5 hours a week. But as I said the other day to my wife, I kind of always have my radar on. I mean, what's going on? What are the things that I'm reading? You know, who am I talking with? Are there other things that I can do? So it's kind of like I'm always on, but I'm not on. Just sort of listening to see what's going on, because I'm always looking for where's that next candidate going to come from, who's the next person I want to have a conversation with, who could help me find interns, where's the next school that I need to network. Are there things that we could do that might help us network? Like, for example, we did a marketing project with University of New Hampshire that wasn't really intern related, but it got us into the school, it got us to meet some of the academics there, and so now I have some names and some faces and some people that I can talk to on a one-to-one basis. I think it's all about making those initial connections and then keeping them going, which I think really makes it a robust program.
Before we turn it over for questions, maybe just we'll go down the line and last thoughts, words of wisdom, advice, anything else on your mind?
I would say the most important thing for us, because of the age group that we're dealing with, for some of these kids, this is their first experience having a job. And it's not like a job, you know, it's got a lot more leeway. You know, they're not paid in our program, so it's very, very okay for them to be like, I want to take a break and just, you know, read a book for a while. Is that okay? And it's like, yeah, absolutely. You know, it's it's around them. It's important to make sure that they have a good time. Kind of like when you've got a kid and you want them to grow up and be a skier, and you want them to love skiing. You don't start by putting a lot of pressure on it. You don't start by making it not fun. You can still absolutely put them to work, but you gotta not be a jerk. And it's true, like in any employment situation, the people that you work with makes a huge difference. You can have a great job on paper, but if you work with a jerk, it's gonna suck and you're not gonna be there long term. If you're at a job and the job itself kind of sucks, but you work with really good people, that's gonna make a big difference, and that's gonna encourage you to stay longer. So yeah, that's my big thing. Don't be a jerk. Be nice to these kids. Try to make it a good experience.
Yeah, I recommend, you know, before they even start, have a formal orientation and training session. Really lay out their expectations, do the proper training. Definitely pay your interns. I'm a big believer if they're going to do work for you. You know, you should pay them, and that makes it a more attractive internship program, makes it easier to get interns for your program. Definitely take advantage of the Maine Career Catalyst program. It's like, as mentioned, it's a free program, and it's a great way to supplement your internship program and also provide some networking opportunities for your interns. Make sure you have a web page that describes your internship program and some of the success stories, when the deadlines are, or when you would open up your application process. That way, year-round, people can see that you do have a program. People are prepared on when they need to have their applications in by. And then obviously make it about as I mentioned before, make it about the intern, not about your business. There's a lot of businesses out there that have internship programs that really take advantage of their interns for just cheap labor. And you know, I've seen some baseball teams where they just they don't even pay their interns, and they make them pick up trash and do this and do that, and you know, that's not doing the intern any favors. You know, you have to make this a teaching opportunity for them and make it a win-win situation for both the employer and the student.
Awesome. Love all of what's been said already. One thing to add to that too is thinking about the age range that we're talking about, 16 to 24. This is some of the most fluid and really pivotal times in these young people's lives. They're learning how to learn, they're learning how to advocate for themselves, they're learning what their interests are, and they're finally having an opportunity to experience them. And this makes or breaks for a lot of young people whether or not they may decide to stay in Maine. This is the difference between them having a long-term relationship with an employer, knowing them at 16, and then when they go into post-secondary or go into a training program or looking for that full-time position, they're referring back to these moments and saying, I had a fantastic time here. The work was hard, but I really liked it. Or I worked with really great people. I know the industry, maybe I want to try something else. But it's really a key time in their lives. So for them to feel invested in by being paid, for them to feel like you are making this opportunity something that works for everybody, and for them to feel like they want to be a part of the Maine community and be a part of the Maine economy. This is really such a pivotal time for them. So taking the time to be thoughtful in the way that you're constructing your internships, or finding ways to get student feedback before you're presenting something to young people is a great way to do that. And again, just impressing upon, I'm somebody who grew up in Maine, loved it, left, came back, left again, came back one more time, did leave one more time after that, but then for some reason I really wanted to listen to Q97.9 and have my Hannaford mayonnaise. I was sitting in London having a terrible time, and I was like, well, I do want this. And then finally having that courage, that strength to come back and say, yes, I had a fantastic experience in X, Y, and Z places because of the relationships I made when I was younger, and I know that sense of home and I know that sense of community, and I haven't left again yet, but keep me here. Really and truly for these young people, it's about having that positive experience early on in their lives and early on in their careers to really spark that interest to want to stay.
I'd say three things come to my mind. First is offer an authentic experience. You know, you want something that they see that what they're doing is meaningful to them and to the organization. Don't, like Maureen said, you know, put them in front of a fish fryer for 400 hours and call it an internship. That's just not fair. Second is, as much as you can, integrate them into the fabric of your organization. Make sure that they get a lot of the same perks that your other employees get. Invite them to the same meetings. Make them feel they're part of the family. And the third is, I think you have to add an element of fun. Give them an opportunity to work together, play together, do things together. Allow them to form relationships of their own while they're with you. My three things.
Awesome. Always give them a chance to learn, and I think one of the things that's important, everything agreed for sure, is that if an intern is not doing a good job or meeting your expectations, is having that open line of communication with the schools that are sending you the interns. Because if I know that students are not prepared to be at the Nonantum or David's or wherever they're going, I want to know that, because that means we need to adjust what we're doing in the classroom to make sure that we're meeting the needs of the employer.
Okay, so we'll open it up to questions. Is Bailey somewhere? There you are. Excellent. So Bailey has a mic, so if you just want to raise your hand, and I think first question's over here.
I am freezing in here. It's freezing in here.
Are we on? Apparently we are. First off, thanks for a great presentation. And secondly, I'm in the craft beverage industry. Very interested in what the interest level might be among college students who might think that that's where they're interested in going in the future. Do you have that kind of feedback?
At the community college level, a little more challenging, I think. Our students tend to lean more towards the common, I guess, positions that you would say. However, with the beverage industry, it's interesting. No one's ever approached us with a created internship. And you never know what a student is interested in until they're actually shown something and said, you could do this. I mean, once in a while, a student will come in and be, I got a student that wants to be a flight attendant. I don't see that a whole lot. And so creating an internship for her that she can go out and figure that out. But I think we could be ripe for that. We teach a beverage class, so our students are exposed to beverage, and so they understand it. Absolutely, we should connect. Cannabis as well. I mean, that's certainly an area a lot of our students are interested in. Yeah, it just is. And so that's another area. When we talk about canna tourism, we talk about beer tourism, so there definitely could be an interest.
Hi, yeah, thanks everybody. It was great. Kay, I just wanted to ask you, like, what is the number in terms of the pool of interns you're drawing from and would be available? And then also, how do you work with an organization? Is it hands-on? Do you help design it with you or with the person? Or is it like you're looking for established places that have something in mind already? Because we're just at the beginning of what we'd want to do.
Yeah, great question. So in terms of who we're pulling from, we, through the DOE, subgranted some funds to them, and we have 26 awarded entities through them. So 3 of them are community-based organizations, 23 of them are schools. We also have a partnership with JMG, who's in over 90 high schools in and around Maine. And then we also have 5 community-based organizations all the way from Cumberland County all the way up to Aroostook County. So we are pulling from all of our subgrantees and all of the folks who are a part of our program. So that's a large network of schools, community-based organizations, and organizations serving young people. So I can't give you a total number because I'm pretty sure that it changes every day. But what I could say is the pool is young people 16 to 24, either in school, adult education, community-based programs, with a wide variety of interests, needs, ability to be able to get places and things like that. So if you're looking for a young person to work with that's maybe in the 16, 17, 18-year-old range, still a junior, senior in high school, we have plenty of schools that we can connect you with. We also have community-based organizations that are primarily working with some of our adult eds who may be working with that older young person, somebody who may be 21 plus or something like that. And then we have a great mix, I think, of community-based organizations that are also partnering with the schools and some of our other grantees who we could connect you with, whoever's closest to you. That's usually my first go-to. And then I can help as little or as much as you'd like. I do have quite a few folks who are also in the beginning stage of what could this look like? Can I talk to some young people? Happy to connect you with some ELO coordinators or maybe workforce navigators in the community who are working with the students who you may want to work with, and help craft that. The more feedback you can get from the people who support the young people, I think the better there. But again, just to go back to the network is huge, and really and truly it's going to be closest to where you're located, and use me as little or as much as you want. Trust me, I'm kind of annoying, so you probably don't want me that much. I promise.
Thank you so much for all the information you've shared today. Following up on that question, Dawn, you spoke a little bit about some of your current employees have asked about the internship program. To any and all of the employers on the panel, do you have any interest from non-traditional students or even adults in the workforce that may be interested in changing careers? And have you had any thoughts or experiences with internships for older age ranges?
I guess take a first crack at that. No, we haven't, but yes, we would. If someone came to us and wanted to have an internship, they could apply, and I'm certainly would entertain it. My sense is that for someone who is trying to change careers, that person might be better suited just to get a job in the organization, and then based upon their skills, we would probably channel them around on their own. But if someone wanted to apply for the internship and be integrated into the program, I'm sure we'd entertain it. I'm just not sure if that's the best choice for a person like that, but we definitely think about it.
I think the other session may have let out already. So maybe we have time for like 1 or 2 more questions.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth, and this is a question for really anyone, but probably the folks who oversee the intern programs. Thinking about your program, your interns, what they're doing, how it might be similar to paid staff, how do you kind of manage those two groups, create cohesion, bridge a divide, and maybe handle any animosity that an intern might feel they're not receiving the same benefits as a full-time staff person?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we pretty much treat them as equals. Everyone is part of our staff, and all of our associate interns are interwoven into our part-time seasonal staff as well. So they all work together. The interns sort of supplement the seasonal staff. The seasonal staff can be mentors as well throughout the course of the season to the interns, but they all attend the same meetings. I look at them all as equal people, and I think they all feel equally as important. And the interns, we try to make sure that their voices are heard. So, some of our most successful programs that we have running at the ballpark are programs that our interns developed, and so I've never really seen any animosity from either side. They just all get along well together. We've been very fortunate in that situation. So.
I think that might be our time. So thank you so much to the panel for being here. If you have any more questions, please, I think that they'd be happy to answer them. And we will, hang on, I gotta clip the slide. Okay, so we're gonna break for 15. In about 15 minutes, recruiting from diverse populations will be in this room, and retaining seasonal staff from year to year will be over in Mary Meeting. Let's give our panelists a round of applause. Thank you.